A lab shipped its most powerful model, and 6 days later, the government switched it off. Not throttled, not degraded, gone. For everyone in every country by order of the Commerce Department of the United States. And the big thing it broke isn't a model, it's an assumption almost every enterprise on earth is quietly making right now. Here's what happened fast, because the timeline is the whole story. On June 9th, Anthropic shipped Claude Fable 5, the first publicly available model in its top Mythos tier. State of the art coding, multi day autonomous work, and a million token context window. The most capable model they had ever put in public hands. 3 days later, June 12th, the US Commerce Department issued an export control directive signed by the Commerce Secretary. It banned the model for any foreign national inside or outside the United States. Anthropic couldn't filter by nationality in real time, so to comply, it disabled the model for everyone, everywhere. It's still offline, with no confirmed date for return. Now, why should a technology leader in four different economies care about one American model being pulled? Because the dependency is the same everywhere and the exposure isn't. In the United States, this is the part people miss. The order didn't carve out the American companies. It targeted foreign nationals, including foreign national employees inside US firms. The home market went dark with everyone else. In the United Kingdom, enterprises that had wired Fable 5 into agentic coding pipelines woke up to a hard error. The fallback is excellent, but on the hardest long horizon tasks, it's a measurable step down. That gap is the cliff. In Singapore, the cleanest governance program in the world doesn't protect you when the risk lives in another government's export law. Your model can vanish for reasons that have nothing to do with how well you deployed it. In Australia, single sourced now include the model itself. As one tech leader put it after the ban, assume anything single sourced can be withdrawn. Four markets, one model, and every one of them was exposed through the same single point of failure. Here's where almost every take on the story goes wrong. The headlines are arguing about the jailbreak. Was the safety bypass real? Anthropic says it was minor, and other public models can find the same flaws. The government says it's serious enough for National Security Authority. That fight is interesting. It is also a distraction because whether or not the jailbreak was real changes nothing about the lesson for you. The risk that took Fable 5 offline was never a property of the model. It was a property of the architecture you used to reach it. For 15 years, I have watched enterprises do capability due diligence, benchmarks, latency, cost per token. I have almost seen a procurement review. If this exact model disappeared tomorrow for a reason that has nothing to do with us, what stops working? And how fast can we route around it? We've spent 2 years treating model choice as a feature decision. Fable 5 just reclassified it as a continuity decision. And those live in completely different parts of the organization. The companies that sailed through June 12th weren't the ones with the best model. They were the ones who would put a router in front of their models. So switching was a config change, not a code rewrite. For them, the most powerful model on earth vanishing was a non event. The companies that went dark had done something that felt completely reasonable. They picked the best model and wired it straight in. That's not negligence. That's how almost everyone builds the first version. So the twist isn't AI is risky. The twist is the single most important AI decision your organization will make this year isn't which model to choose. It's whether losing that choice overnight is a shrug or a crisis. Capability is what you buy. Optionality is what protects you. And for 2 years, we've been spending almost entirely on the first one. So there are 3 moves you can take to your team this week. None of them require a single new vendor. Move 1. Build the dependency map you can't currently produce. Which process, which agent, which tool runs on which model, from which provider, in which jurisdiction. If you can't produce that map today, building it the morning after a shutdown is the worst possible time. Move 2. Put a router in front of your models and tier your fallbacks by workload. Your support summarizer and your security assistant should not have the same continuity plan. Keep at least 2 tested substitutes per critical workflow. Move 3. Rewrite the AI clause in your contracts and your risk register. Most agreements were written for outages and pricing, not for a government compelling withdrawal with no notice. Put regulatory model withdrawal on the risk register next to supply chain and cyber. Notice what none of these are. None of them are abandon Anthropic or distrust US AI. Fable 5 is extraordinary and it's likely coming back. The lesson isn't about a vendor. It's about never letting any single one become a load-bearing wall you cannot replace. Here's the quiet story that didn't make the headlines, and it's the part that matters most. Anthropic didn't find Anthropic didn't fight this in public. Within hours, it complied. And then it sent a co-founder, the person who runs its compute, to Washington to work the problem as a technical disagreement. Engineer to engineer, not lobbyists. Engineers sitting down with government researchers to examine the model together. Sit with what that signals. The way frontier AI disputes gets resolved going forward may not be regulation written in advance. It may be case by case technical negotiation after the model ships behind closed doors. The rules get written at the table, retroactively, model by model. For anyone planning a multi-year AI strategy, that's the real headline. The availability of frontier capability is now partly a function of geopolitics you don't control. The only rational response is to architect as if any single model could be negotiated away tomorrow. Because for 6 days and counting, one was. So here's your homework. Pick your single most important AI powered workflow, the one that would hurt most if stopped. Then answer one question honestly. If that exact model disappeared tonight by government order, is your answer a config change or is it a crisis? And the question I actually want you to leave in the comments. If losing a model overnight would be a crisis for you right now, what's the one thing stopping you from fixing that this quarter? Budget, skills, or that nobody's made it someone's job? Because that answer tells you exactly how exposed you really are. This is Raj. I'll see you in the next episode. Namaskar.